What? What?
What is going on? Vibram Disc Golf Collectors Group. Apologize for the slight delay here. We had a couple technical difficulties. I think it's a connection thing, but we got it worked out now. I've got Vinnie on the call. As you can see right here, I've got a still image of his beautiful face, but considering he is holding one of the sexiest discs I've ever seen in my life, we're going to let it pass tonight. But here's what's important. We're catching up with Vinnie. We're going to see how his first day at Worlds went, get his feedback on a couple of things, and just kind of touch base, and we'll do this each night. Hopefully we'll have some video tomorrow night. But let's get started real quick. Vinnie, how did the weather treat you today? I pulled up the stats, and it looks like you were projected to have mid-80s and then very mild winds, it looked like, too.
Oh, it's beautiful weather. For this old Texas boy, it's beautiful weather. In fact, the mornings are almost cool, but yeah, slight wind, kind of a moist fairways first thing this morning. I actually did the Skid Row song this morning. I woke up in my RV and I heard the sound of pouring rain. And I'm glad to say by the time I got to the Grand Rapids area, there's clear skies, beautiful day.
Awesome, man. Awesome. It's always nice to have the nice clear skies so you can see those beautiful rubber discs flying through the air. So I know that you were playing on Riverside today. You had morning and afternoon at Riverside. Is that correct?
I did. They pulled us where we're not moving around a lot, which I really like. That makes it a little bit easier on the players, to where you know where you're at for the whole day. You're not having to transport and worry about traffic or anything like that. And so we played Riverside today, which I think is probably the biggest venue out of the bunch. It's basically flat around a duck pond that, might I add, is got a wonderful smell. But big shots all day long. I believe they called the course 59 par, so yeah, it was definitely big holes.
Wow. So I saw when I went on Disc Golf Course Review, because I wasn't familiar with the course at all, so I just wanted to see, get a glimpse of what the property looked at, maybe see what the holes were. But the first thing that's on that page says they pulled all the baskets and they completely redid it for Worlds. What were your thoughts on the layout, especially with the water there in the middle of the park?
Yeah, the water doesn't really come into play that much. I felt as if they could have done it a little bit better. I was talking to some of the original players out there, which I had the luxury of practicing the course for 2 weeks and getting a good feel for it. And in fact, one of the times I played it, I actually had two baskets. They were all Mach 2s, and then the brand new Innova basket on the same hole. So I got to see how the old course played to the new course, and definitely the course was dated as far as the technology. But it was a big course. I don't think there's a lot of separation with this type of course. They could have tightened it up with a little bit of OB, but for them to go in there and revamp it, it's just another testament of where an event comes in and improves the course, and which it absolutely is improved. It's much better than it was, but I felt like they could have tightened it up a little bit more, maybe brought the water into play, but it was more of a big shots with very little bit of scoring separation. So kind of depended more on if you putted well today, then you scored well.
Okay. So what kind of challenges did you see out on the course today? I mean, it sounds like that the layout wasn't too terribly difficult, just maybe long.
Yeah, no, that's what it was. It was the challenge today was basically just being long. Not a lot of wind, so you don't have to worry about turning over something or hyzer something off, but more so just curing the fairways with long shots. The longer you threw, the better position you were in, and unfortunately, I can still sling with the big boys. So I was able to take our fabulous mold, the lace, and do real well with it. It was very versatile. And again, I threw a lot of rollers today. The fairways are clean, and you had to be long. It was just better to be long. So yeah, absolutely. So I think the biggest challenge today was to ensure that you were long enough to actually score well on some of these. They call them par threes, but the 500-foot par three that's hard to do. Is that something that long?
Yeah, that makes sense. So the lace, I remember watching the video with Ben last week, and you mentioned the roller. So is that busting out the old school white lace?
Oh, absolutely, man. The firm 174 lace, kind of a white, the old white. It still has the numbers on the back. It doesn't have the actual flight pattern on it. Was the go-to today.
Right on.
I was able to utilize it for rollers and as well big sky shots. I'm kind of a flip hyzer player, so I can take a tad bit beat up lace, put a big hyzer on it up high, and get a lot of performance out of it. But by far, I was able to throw rollers with that lace today, and it did quite well.
What kind of distance you think you got today, man? I know you like pulling out the distance numbers, so surely you've got some guesses.
Yeah, I will tell you that twice today on one hole I had a good crosswind. I was throwing my roller. I know I was over 450 on it because we had a 940 foot hole, and I was well past the halfway mark on it. I was able to take. I also utilized. The go-to disc today was lace, because I also have a red 174 lace that's kind of the merm. It's still got the flight pattern on the back, and I was able to pull over on it enough that I was getting some good air shots, 360, 380 area. But by far, if I hit the ground well, which I want to note, here in Michigan, they have these little groundhogs that make these little tunnels.
Yeah.
And if you hit them with the disc, it's like hitting deep grass. So, and I would notice that sometimes my rollers would cut up, where sometimes I would put the same angle on the same disc and get good distance. But I would say on a regular basis, I was throwing my roller somewhere between 430 and 450.
Nice, man. That's awesome. Yeah, at the end of the little intro video there, that last throw is that red lace, and you absolutely crush it in that last throw on the intro. So I know exactly what disc you're talking about. So the lace
Absolutely.
is the go-to disc of the day. I love to hear that. What kind of successes did you see out there today, man? Did you have some awesome moments?
Well, I mean, really, my play today, in my perspective, was a little bit flat. I stayed around a 980 golfer today. I didn't execute well on my putts, but I will say I only went OB twice today. So I guess my successes was I stayed out of danger, which wasn't real hard to do, but I was able to consistently penetrate the fairways and give myself opportunities to score. Now, the scoring part is where I had my challenges today. The putt, and I want to say I'm a great putter, but today I found myself with a lot of 5-foot putts, and that wasn't because I was driving the hole as much as I was putting inside the circle, well, at the edge of the circle and outside the circle, and finding myself either being high or a little bit low, which would result in a 4-foot putt. And
Sure.
Actually, I had one of the guys on my second round make a statement that was pretty profound to me. He goes, "Man, you've made a lot of 4-foot putts today." And I was going, you're right. And it was just, I didn't execute. So, my successes were definitely penetrating the fairway and getting myself in a situation to be able to score. But my biggest challenges were my putts today. I would say somewhere between 30 and 35 foot. I didn't have as much consistency I would like, and it creates frustration. And as the rounds go, that can become a huge challenge. Am I going to make these putts? And, I didn't do any blow-bys, but and I believe it's just I need to do a little bit more consistent work on that. And I really feel good about it going into tomorrow, actually. It's just I've got to play well.
Do you think it was were you feeling less confident in your putt, or was it just your eyeball for distance was just slightly off today?
I think it was more I was a little bit I noticed a couple times in my putts that my heart seemed to be pounding. And so I was doing a lot of bands, and these were into the basket. So I was doing a lot. I was hitting really high on the buckets, and I was either am siding out left or I was catching that band. So it was not so much, I don't think, the confidence or even the distance. It was, I think I was just being real firm. And,
okay.
Excuse me. And that firmness had me high on these baskets.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe just a little bit looser for tomorrow, and you feel like you'll be dialed in then.
Yeah, and tomorrow it's one round. It's tee times, and it's on the private course. Which, if any of y'all have ever been in a hedge maze, that's what the first 5 holes are at this course. It's 10-foot tall hedges, as thick as you can see, and the fairways are 15, 20 feet wide. So it's,
wow.
The first time I saw it, I was amazed. I really couldn't believe that these were actually fairways. And but I've got a lot of good play on that course. I feel pretty confident. I know where the place is not to be. So I just got to put myself in the position to be able to score well.
I got you, man. Well, Vinny, I'm going to take a quick break. We've got a couple of watchers out there. Anybody that's out there, if you guys got any questions that you want to shoot to Vinny, go ahead and put it in comments. I'm monitoring the comments, and we'll make sure to get those to Vinny at the end. So, Vinny, you mentioned kind of where your game was today, and that puts you right now. I'm looking on the site. It's got you in a solid tie for 10th. How do you feel? I mean, it looks like you were basically same both rounds. How do you feel like that's gonna do with the rest of the group?
Well, I mean, I definitely didn't play, and my wife, she gets me. She asks me how I did, and I'll go, I just haven't played my best golf today. And then she'll go, well, where are you at? And I'm like, well, I'm in second place. This is just not today. And she's like, well, you're doing great. And I go, I know. I felt like I left a lot out there. I definitely left enough out there that the deficit between me and first place could have been overcome easily with just a little, even 50% of where I thought my putt would be. But I will tell you that I feel real good. I haven't played my best golf. I've always said you can always lose a tournament in your first day, but you can never win on your first day. And I felt like I put myself in a position that I feel like I can succeed. I just got to continue pushing forward and just play solid golf. I don't feel like I played good today. So, and a lot of people, my peers that are in front of me and behind me, they all know where I'm at. They know what to expect out of me. And so I'm sure they're going to be watching over their shoulder.
I was going to say, man, I'm looking at, the guys in the top 5. I mean, obviously Greg had an amazing 2 rounds put together today, but the rest of the folks here, I mean, they really on one of their rounds at least they're scoring right where you were, maybe a stroke better, but then they did each of them have a hotter round. But to me that means that you guys were a lot closer than maybe the 7 strokes off the lead shows, which is good. It should be a confidence boost going into tomorrow. He has a couple bad holes and you have a couple good holes, and man, you're in the top 3 So I think
Yeah,
that's a
absolutely.
good place to be, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I'm in a striking position. I got to play with Greg the first round. Very interesting individual, I'll tell you that. Flamboyant's a real good word for it. But he played well. He scored. He got his twos and stayed away from the fours. He made some great putts. I mean, really far outside quarter of the circle putts today. And really this course, that's what it was. I mean, if you could make a 40-foot putt, you were going to turn in a good score. And like I said, I played with him first round and watched him, and we were 5-stroke difference after the first round, and I was looking at the card, and I was questioning, wow, how did you beat me by 5? Because it just didn't look like it. But I started looking back, and he just didn't get himself in trouble, and when he put himself in a position to score, he did. So hats off to Greg. Greg played well. I know there's a couple people that I'm interested in playing with. Tomorrow's card's going to be interesting. But
Who'd they
absolutely,
pair you with tomorrow?
I've got a local here, a guy named Luna. His name, well, that's his nickname, but it's Kirk. I can't say his last name, but he's a Michigan Battle Creek guy. I met him earlier this year. And then I've got Joe Mela, I call him the technician, and then Brad Hammock, the bug. So, I mean, quality card. It's definitely, it's going to be easy to stream off the good play. So just, and tomorrow is the course tomorrow is definitely a scoring separation. Somebody can easily make 7 or 8 strokes up tomorrow, easily, because of how thick it is. So yeah, I've got, like I said, I've got myself in a great position, and with the work, Ben O did a lot of work with me out there at Brewer. I really appreciate that, and I think that's really going to help me going into 30. Yeah,
awesome.
But I feel real good, and and I just gotta do what I do.
I hear you, man. I hear you. So we got Fishhead out there showing you some love. And
I love the fish.
Yeah, man. So let me ask you this: what's been just the overall? See, I personally haven't been to a big event like this outside of Birdie Bash Worlds, which to me was just awesome because so many rubberheads were coming together, right? But what's the player experience been to this point? Has it been a tournament that thus far has stood out in your mind?
Oh, absolutely. I don't play very many world championships because of the dedication of time. And, but with me being in the neighborhood, per se, it was easy to put this event in the schedule. I've had a really good time. It's good seeing everybody. The player party, super great time. They're having a great time. I cut off a little short. Wanted to try to get to you guys, but great time. The cities, amazing golf, amazing people. The microbrews. I'm a beer snob. How about that, Mitch? And I was there. I actually stopped on the way home and had a Founders. If anybody gets up into Grand Rapids, make it to Founders. Great brewery, great food, great people. Lots of pretty people there. But good times. The players' experience as a whole, I got a great players pack. Of course, I got a Dynamic Disc T-shirt, which I will be happily passing on. And I got a Prodigy disc with World Stamp. I got a Discraft disc with World Stamp, and also got an Innova stamped, Innova with the World Stamp. So the players pack for a pro side, really good. I mean, I think for me, the best thing that came out of it, because like everybody else that's listening, I'm a rubberhead. So the plastic's out. I don't throw plastic.
Yeah,
They gave us a 50% discount on T-Rex, Adidas T-Rexes, which
that's
I
cool.
love my Vibram. Yeah, absolutely. I love my Vibram shoes. So that's, again, something cool. But I'm not going to kid you. The best thing for me, because, I mean, the little things I think count, is I got a great pencil sharpener. I mean, I did.
That's awesome,
It was
man.
great. I don't, I could have that in my bag, and I will not have a dull pencil. I mean, and I'm not making light of this or being sarcastic, because there's
No,
plenty of
just
time.
you're
It's like,
absolutely right,
God,
man.
and I've got this. I mean, it's an awesome pencil sharpener. So it's definitely something I'm going to continue on. They made it a point, because some of the private courses, to have player badges and caddy badges.
Okay.
And so, like tomorrow, the Black Falcon, no gallery, no video allowed. It's a
No
private
kidding.
course.
Wow.
Yeah, none. Really, you can't have it. Uh,
Okay.
I'm a big advocate of the direction Steve Dodge is going. The more eyes on the sport, the faster it's going to grow. But
Sure.
you just can't have eyes on this course. It's so tight. There's just no place for anybody. And
That
so
makes
the
sense.
players, yeah. So, I mean, it's sad to say, but I mean, it is fun. I got to spend some time with Mark LaFleur, I think it's his name, owner.
Okay.
And 15 people have played Black Falcon before Worlds. That was it.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah. It's
So
very
this is like its
exclusive.
true premiere then I mean, when you really think about it, to the disc golf community, this is their premier event then, I guess.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
I really got to spend some good time with him. He's a great guy. He's eccentric and he's exclusive. That's just that simple. And he made it even a point to say, after this event, he's going to have to put up some kind of a gate. He doesn't want just anybody showing up.
Sure.
So it's something that he's trying to keep exclusive. He did open his doors to the world. He's real proud of that. He actually talked Joe Gill, the Bluegill owner, to follow through and actually be a part of this, because they were looking for courses. I wish we were playing Bluegill. I got to walk it. It's a great course. But, it's just so, I mean, that was a part of the players pack. That was kind of neat. It's gives you some exclusivity. Which, if there's anybody out there, I've got a caddy badge. But on to the next one. But I mean, for a pro to get a players pack, super awesome. I haven't seen a payout. I haven't seen a trophy or anything. I went to the players meeting last night, and they had some awards that they were giving out, PDGA awards. They announced the new director, which I know him.
Right.
And so it was kind of neat.
What do you feel like was the standout? Go ahead.
Go back to the experience side of it. I will tell you, I think as far as player experience, I think the biggest part is just, this is what our sport's based on, is family and fellowship. And seeing the people I've played golf with the last 20 years all in one spot, and them being the highlight, which I feel like that's the direction our divisions are going to be going. I created the Texas Women's Championships 13 years ago to give the women's an environment and a venue that they could be exclusive in. And, feel as if they're treated better than if they were to go to a man's event. I hate to say it that way, but if you go to a Pro World Championship and you're playing Grand Masters, you are by far not the highlight show, and which I understand. And so I think the biggest part of all this is actually seeing the people that I've played with for a long time and having them highlighted as the premier divisions. And so I think this is a great step in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So with everything that went on today, was there any just awesome throws or ridiculous putts, or just an overall standout experience that sticks out in your mind?
Yeah, it is. I call it I'm not sure of the hole number. I'd have to go back on it. But there's a hole on Riverside. It's a little birdie hole, and it's on the peninsula of the water. And so for a lefty, you've got a over the water tough shot to land on it. And for the righty, it's such a tight fairway. They've put OB on the sides that if you're long on the fairway, you're OB. And if you're left of the fairway, you're OB. And then if for example, if you left yourself 25 or 30 feet out, you're putting out this peninsula, And if you miss, if you don't draw metal, you're going in the water. And the first round, you know, like I said, I've got to play it both times. The first time I threw the fairway, OB right, lay up, take you 4, get out of there. And the second time I took a solace. I love the medium solace. If you need a meat hook, unless you're Ben O,
yeah, right.
I mean, it freaked me out the first time I saw him throw a 164 O-lace, and it flipped over and it hyzered back, and I go, "Wow, that's a nice O-lace." And he goes, "No, that's a solace." I go, "There is no way." But I've got a granite medium solace that's just a meat hook. It's super hyzery, and like the first time I threw it through the fairway, laid up, gone forward. The second time, took a little off, left it short on the peninsula, but left. And at the point, I needed to score. And so went to a knee, 32 or 3 feet out, and kind of threw a pitch up off my knee, and, hey, it went in. Yay, me.
Heck yeah.
And, you know, and it was a good time because that started, I just came off a big shot that I took a 5 that I've been practicing getting 3s. And so it was a 2-stroke swing or bettering of the previous round on that hole. So which helped me get over the 5 I just threw. Yeah. And then it actually set me up for 2 more birdies in a row because it gave me the confidence to actually attack the holes.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I mean, it was a turkey 10th hole. 10th hole of the second round started a turkey after a kind of a slow start and a bumpy hole 5. But, yeah, I mean, that by far stands out. I mean, that's by far the best shot of the day.
Awesome. Hopefully we can get a bunch of those tied together tomorrow, too. What's your expectations for tomorrow? I mean, obviously this course is going to be ridiculous, but how do you feel like what kind of disc do you think you're really going to have to pull out of the bag tomorrow? Is this a real long course or is this a placement course?
Yeah, this is a placement course. This is it's 20 holes and not too many big holes, as much as little holes. But I think the biggest thing that stands out about this course, the hardest part, is the greens. There's not on many of these greens. There's not 10-meter greens. You might have a 15 or 18-foot green, to where if you're outside of those little bubbles, 20-foot bubbles, you may not have a shot because it's so thick. So the greens are going to be a little bit tighter. I noticed scoring-wise, I played it a lot, but I only scored it twice, and I shot a 60 and a 62. Like I said, it's 20 holes. And I would say I saw the Masters shot a 1050 round at 50, and they shot a 53. I felt as if I can shoot a 55 or a 56 out there. 53 is, the guy was hitting everything, obviously. So yeah. My expectations, my goals, my Carnick, if you're an old Carson fan, envelope to the head, shooting a 58 tomorrow.
Okay. All right, I got that down. So we'll see how that goes. So what's the reasoning behind them giving you 2 rounds today and then just 1 round tomorrow, and what's your thoughts on that format overall?
Well, I mean, like the Masters today, they only had 1 round today, and they'll play 2. It's a good alternating. We're all going to play the same amount of holes. I wish they'd have planned it a little bit different to where there was something going on tomorrow, because I'm going to be done quick. Whereas today, I had to get up early. I had to prepare the night before, as far as eating some carbohydrates to have the energy through the day. And, I even made a lunch. I love peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah,
everybody wants, I mean, hey, you never have to worry about.
You're not a peanut butter and honey guy? You're not peanut butter and honey? I figure you being a farmer guy, you might like honey.
Well, I'm going to throw a twist at you here. So I put honey on one side of the bread, let it sink in, and then I put strawberry jelly over the top of that.
There you go.
And with peanut butter.
Yes.
So the honey's there, and it's never
Fish
crunchy.
Says Jif.
It's always smooth.
Fish says
Fish,
Jif.
And fish, there's no cinnamon in my peanut butter.
You put cinnamon in his peanut butter?
Now he puts cinnamon in his chili.
Oh, okay. I've done that. That tastes good. I'm a fan
sorry.
of that.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
I'm weird too, right?
But-
I'm weird too.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I think you know, the whole ideal that we're getting alternate, that gives us, I think it's an opportunity for us to rest. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, you get a 2-1, 2-1, and so it's not such. Then it's one of the reasons I didn't play Worlds in the past. I mean, it's been a while. I kind of was just trying to think about that today. It's been 6 or 7 years since I played a Worlds. I've played a few, but I've played plenty of Worlds where it's 2 rounds on one course, 2 rounds on another course, 2 rounds on another course, and by the time you're going into Friday, it's about endurance and it's not so much about skill. So I think the 2-1, 2-1 will actually allow the player, not just myself, but the player to heal and as well compete at their skill level.
Yeah.
And so
absolutely.
I think it'll define a good way of going through the scoring. Actually, I mean, I think it's going to be good. I think it's I yet to see. We'll see. Tomorrow I got 1 round. I'm sure at the end of the day I'll be losing my mind because I'm not playing somewhere. But I should save my energy because I got 2 rounds at Brewers Thursday.
Okay. So would you say that the most valuable piece of gear that you've had, I mean, outside of the lace, is definitely that Zuka cart this week?
Oh, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. I mean, I love my Zuka. It's not. There's courses that you can't utilize it. It's not. It's just not. It's more trouble than it is. I mean, if you're bouncing around.
Right.
But definitely, courses I'll be playing for Worlds is that Zuka cart. It allows me to carry any gear. Fortunately, I haven't had to utilize any kind of weathering gear or anything, but I've got that capacity. But I'm able to carry extra disc, plenty of fluids, carbohydrates, and my biggest thing, I think the biggest thing with the Zuka, and I love the Zuka, is the height of the seat. The old-fashioned tripod is nice, but I felt like my posture was hurting sitting in that, whereas the Zuka allows me to sit up tall with my knees straight. So,
Sure.
yeah, absolutely.
How tall are you, Vinny? How tall are you?
I'm shrinking all the time.
But
I'm 6 foot. I'm 6
Okay.
foot. I'm generally kept myself somewhere around 180, 185. I've always liked that weight, but I spent the whole summer with my family in Tennessee, and them some gravy-eating people. I mean, but I think I'm up to about 192. My wife actually told me I have 3 shoulders now, and I need to start addressing that a little bit.
All right. Maybe after Worlds. We'll focus on Worlds first, right?
Hey, U.S. Masters right around the corner.
There you go, man. So we've got quite a few people out there that tuned in throughout the night tonight, and you even had your good friend and somebody we all love, Steve Dodge and Jim Castillo out there watching. I don't know if they're still out there watching, but I know that they had dialed in at one point. But we did have a question out here. They were asking about your stance and your thoughts between push putting and spin putting, and kind of how that came into play.
Okay. I'm a straddle putter.
Okay.
I definitely spin putt more than not. I do have like a lofty kind of side stance putt that I might find myself at 60 or 70 feet out, kind of a drop shot. But I definitely spin putt, which, it allows me to keep good low lines and straight. There's not a lot of movement left or right. I think my biggest problem with my spin putt is if I draw metal low, I find myself spinning and rolling off because of the actual spin. but I definitely love the spin putt. My stance, I've been told that I look like I'm driving a bus standing up because I square everything off. My knees, my shoulder blades, everything is towards the basket, and it kind of, if I play with my disc, it does look like a steering wheel. But I've got a forward release, a kind of a squatting type release that allows me to get a lot of spin. I fluctuate between putters. If it's windy, it's the VP. There's no way around that. But if I'm outside of 40 to 60 feet, somewhere in that window, I generally putt a firm summit to give me the glide that I like, or even like when I'm putting in a low ceiling area. But by far, I mean, I'm sure some of you older Vibram guys will know the words. The ridge is my money, and it gives me something consistent that I could kind of man up on. I don't have to worry about it being too glidey, and so I utilize a ridge more so than anything. But I'm utility putter. I will putt any one of our molds. I will say I've never really putted the sole because of the depth of it. I have stubby little fingers. People with longer fingers, you guitar players, that's what you should be putting with is the sole because it's a little bit deeper feel. I like more of a lower profile putt.
Makes sense. I'm the same way. I love the Summit myself, and I don't putt with the VP much, but I use it for almost all my approach shots. So I definitely understand where you're at. So obviously we gave a good shout out to the pencil sharpener, man, and I know that you're sponsored by Vibram Disc Golf. Is there any other sponsors out there that you want to give some love to and give a shout out and just thank them for their support?
Oh, I mean, first and foremost, I mean, I just want to thank my fellow players, my fellow golfers. They're, that's who we are. I mean, we all sponsor each other. I mean, just the spirit of itself keeps it competitive. It keeps it something that I love. I'm currently carried by Crush Clothes, Robbie Bratton, one of the that dude could throw a mile. He's done a lot of great events where he's been a part of the distance competition. He's not the best all-around golfer, but he can throw it a mile, and he's come up with some really good products, some hats and shirts and that stuff that's real edgy and new generation type stuff. And, my hat's off to the guy. The guy's putting in a quality material because, you'll see some of this sports stuff. I'm not going to start calling names out like A4. Sure. Oh, I said it out loud. But the A4 shirt, I don't care for. But sure. He carries great quality shirt, and the hats. You can get some knockoff hats for nothing, but he goes the extra mile and puts some good stuff. And he's put some good stuff in my hands. But I mean, really, it's more. Sponsors. I love my Vibram. They're great people. I know we've got some great things on the horizon. Crush Clothes, absolutely. I love you guys. Thank you for bringing stuff. Rush out, get you some. Bring the Crush attitude towards the course. But by far, the spirit of this game is what drives me more than anything. I mean, the beauty of what I'm doing this year and meeting some of these ambassadors of our sport. They may not be everyday names that you might hear of, but I've met plenty of people on the road, and I'm going to lean on you guys. You rubber guys are awesome. I mean, I've met teachers, ambassadors, youth ministers. You guys, it's a different breed of people, and it's really good to see the spirit in it because I mean we're even the Team Vibram guys, we've got no Macbeths. We've got some great players that play good, but we got great men and women on our team. That's what's important in our lives is how we hold ourselves and how we are, we're approachable. We want to extend ourselves and be a part of the growth of this. And I think that's the beauty of the Vibram team, is that we're great people.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely been something that, I mean, this, us getting and chatting with you guys has been fairly new for myself and obviously in the group. But that's been the thing I've noticed week after week, and talking to all of the Team Vibram players, whether they're pros or just advanced players, that every single one of them is a class act. Every single one of them. So much so, I've got Casey Lee coming in crashing at my house this weekend. We're going to go play a tournament together. We're going to go do a dubs tournament just for fun. And, no hesitation at all. The guy's obviously a class act, and my door would be open to all of you. I'm sure there's some weirdos out there, but thus far the Vibram disc golf team has seemed to be above the line, that's for sure. Well, Vinny, I really appreciate you joining me tonight, man, and spending some time. I know you got to get some rest this evening, but you got an afternoon, a little bit of an afternoon round tomorrow. What's your final thoughts for tonight, man? What do you want to put out there?
Man, you guys follow us. Let's be a part of I want y'all to be a part of this experience. It's we get as happy as fast as we can. We need to hug harder and love louder, and speak with a kind word. And I really want to see you guys behind us and help us take it to the next level. I'm very approachable. I'm going to put myself out there. You guys, I want you to see my bad. I want you to see my good. And let's have some fun with this.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. I love it. Well, everybody out there in the Vibram family, and even outside the Vibram family, you should really join the Vibram family, even if it's just one disc. That's all it takes, one piece of rubber. We'll even allow you to join the Vibram family with one rubber mini if you want. But just like Vinny said, let's hug a little harder. Let's love a little louder. I hope that you continue to throw them straight and make your next round your best round.